Hey guys, it's Goma. How are y'all? Everybody okay? I wanted to talk to you today um, because I've been bothered with myself lately because I have um, what I'll have to call, I have bowed my knee to censorship, um, persecution, intimidation, stuff like that from people that um, don't really want me to say what I'm led to say by spirit, and or um, or people that I fear uh, will react in those ways, right? So I have been quiet. Now, part of that is had a very tumultuous time the past few months, many months, and it has taken me really all this time to get some kind of handle on it, to figure out, and come back to where I need to be. I feel like I've kind of been around the world, and now I'm kind of coming back to, where I was about a year ago. And about a year ago, I truly experienced and began to experience daily the Spirit of God, the heart of God. And I came to know what that feeling is, what that does for you, how that changes you, and cleanses you and brings you into wholeness. And I started to get to have dreams and have visions and all kinds of supernatural type activity that I didn't know what to do with, because it was also fast. I spent the earlier months of 2020 being, so I'm talking about 2020, right? Being really sick, and for like until, I'd say from February until May or June, I was really sick. And during that time, I spent a lot of time um, praying and journaling and really seeking out the Father in a way I never had before. And it wasn't because of my illness, but that gave me the time, that gave me the opportunity to make Him my focus, right? Make that pursuit of godliness, of knowing God, that was my number one thing. And so then in the fall of last year, it just kind of all happened. And all I knew, I was getting these messages, or, people call it different things, but all I knew to do, what I felt to do is, a lot of it was stuff I couldn't talk about with my family and friends, or I didn't think I could, because I thought, well, they'll think I'm, crazy, or which, newsflash, they probably already do, but that they'll, I was worried about their reaction. So I thought, well, I'll start a YouTube channel and just say it out loud, because I felt compelled to do that. I felt like I had to say it out loud. I had to get it out in some way. And I still feel that way about a lot. A lot of the times I just walk around my house talking to me, but I have to speak it a lot of times. And that's why I started this channel. And a lot of things happen, and as I say, I began to understand what the love of God is, and I started to understand who I was in relationship to that, and who we all are in relationship to that. And like I say, I just started sharing it. I had no intention at the time, or even now, of starting some big, spiritual project or channel, or being any kind of anything, right? I don't claim to be a teacher or I don't claim any of those titles, and I never have. Because I don't feel, I know what God's told me about me, but in terms of what He's told me about what I'm to do with what I know is a different thing. Sharing things like this, just my testimony and all that, is as far as I'm prepared to go right now. And I've shared a lot of things. I've shared a lot of personal things. And those things have been used against me. I've been persecuted and intimidated and threatened and all kinds of stuff. And I guess I was naive to think that wouldn't happen. But I really, honestly, didn't think anybody was paying any attention. I really didn't. But when I started getting all that back, that negativity, I thought, wow, I opened a can of worms I didn't intend to open. I'm not sure what God wants me to do with it. And so I've let it sit. I've let it be. I've let it try to settle itself back down, And for me to see, since, I'd say springtime, since then, I've been in just upheaval of, and maybe everybody has. I know seems like they've had a hard time and they're going through a lot of things, and I think everyone is in that. But as for me, I have allowed the fear of more persecution, more mockery, more scoffers, more intimidation, more threats, and in fear of that, I have kept my mouth shut about things at times when I felt that, really, if I'm honest, I felt like I needed to share. And I had to ask myself why I would allow that. I'm not typically the kind of, most of my life, I've not been the kind of person who is intimidated by other people, or feels inferior or put down. Or, and even if I did feel put down, I didn't ever, I never let anybody know it. You know what I mean? Like, that's always kind of been my stance of, you might talk about me the minute I walk away, but it won't change the way I am to you, or my ability to interact with you, or whatever else, and but I guess since last year, my heart has been a lot softer. It's been a lot more exposed, and I've just kind of laid it out for a lot of people and shared the love that I was finding, had found, had connected with the Father. And that's what that's naturally what you feel like doing when you have that joy and that peace and that love. You can't help it, comes out, and I had my heart laying out, and I got, I was, I forgot I was in the real world. And so the point of this is to say, fear is the enemy, right? Fear is the enemy. It's not other people. People don't have anything to do with it. It's not about other people. The fear inside of you drives you to either do or not do, give or not give, be or not be. It's all about, a lot about your fear, what you're really afraid of, and where your hurts really are. And so I've kept quiet. I have kept things to myself that I should have shared. I have, and part of that, honestly, is I wanted to examine myself, examine my heart, examine my life, and see what I was glossing over or not looking at or not really addressing, because it will come up, it will come back up. And so that part had to happen, but I just want to say, I regret bowing down to that type of criticism and all of that stuff. The Bible says that's going to happen. And especially if you're talking about things that are not exactly what people think should be talked about, or the way they've always been talked about, or however you want to say it. If you're trying to talk about new things or truth revealed to you, you're going to get pushback, and you're going to get mockers and scoffers. That's just what it is. And I know part of what I've been through is, kind of, working on my armor so that I can handle those things a little better. And I do, way better. But I just want to say that my fear of that has kept me quiet. My fear of that has caused me to minimize the gifts that God has given me. And that's what's wrong. Because it isn't about me as a person, as a woman, as a whatever. It's not about me. But it is about God, and it's about the gifts that, for whatever reason, He gave to me to share. And I have to share them. No matter who likes it and who doesn't. You know? The one thing I can say is I've learned a lot about judgment, judging other people, when in reality there's not anything that any one of us have done that's any worse than the other one. There is no difference. There's no difference. I mean, if you took a gun and shot your neighbor, I have hated someone and killed somebody too. So I'm no different, right? It's the same thing, because what you do in your spirit, it only manifests, like, things don't even happen physically unless they happen in your spirit. That the spiritual aspect is I don't have a number for how many times more important it is, but I mean, it's everything. So I've learned a lot about that, and we don't need to be casting judgment on other people, because we can't. We can't. None of us can judge another, because you're no different. We're all hypocrites. Everything I say today, I'll say or do something that could be interpreted as being the opposite tomorrow. And the same for you. It's the same for you. So we just have to try and come at things with an innocent heart, with a pure heart, with just love. Saying and doing things because we love each other. Not out of getting back at, or taken advantage of, or manipulating, or any of that stuff. It needs to strictly be in love. And that is, I'll just say, it's sorely missing, as far as I can tell. As far as I can tell, a lot of people have an agenda. They're after something from you. And that's sad. I hate that. It breaks my heart. It does. I mean, I can't tell you how much it has broken my heart to realize this stuff. But irregardless, you have to treat people the same. You have to understand that you were just as guilty last week or last year or whenever. None of us has lived a perfect life. None of us has the perfect resume. If we did, then we don't belong here talking about this stuff, because you couldn't have learned anything unless you've been through it. You couldn't have learned this stuff, and I mean, you don't know anything about heaven until you've been to hell, right? You don't know. And that's what we need to remember. We need to remember, we need to value each other for who we are, appreciate that, take what suits you and walk away from the rest, you know? It's really simple. It's really simple, but, you know, I have have debated on whether to start a new channel, move to somewhere else or whatever, and I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do about that, or if I don't know. All I know today is I'm not going to be coward anymore. I'm not afraid. You know, I'm not I'm not afraid. So maybe I'll share more, maybe I won't, but probably I will. If I'm around to share it, probably I will. Because I'm not sticking around in a cage made of fear that I've created with my own hands. I'm not staying in it anymore. I had to stay there for a while so I could realize I don't belong there. And I never did. Because this reality is only about trying to get you to fear in your own mind. It's all about fear. And I think it's the key to everything. If you can get rid of it, if you can face it, if whatever you're afraid of, if you just do it, just do it. I think that's the answer. So there I go, like getting all personal and honest, you know? And I just want to say, like, that's all it is, you know? That's all it is. It's just my story. It's nothing more. And if it helps you, good. I hope so. What other reason would there be to share it? But if it doesn't, I can tell you, God's going to make sure you get whatever will help you. Because that's how this works. That's how this works. Okay, I gotta go. Thanks for listening to me, guys. And, maybe we'll talk again soon. Bye.